Season 42, War number 6, and we are up against Legion. This time my team will be Future Ant-Man, Tigra and Valkyrie. I will be taking Path 6 in Section 1, as well as at the Storm Pyramid X on the shared fight. Then I'm taking Rintrah and America Chavez there in the middle. Going right side, taking Path 8 in Section 2, as well as that Absorbing Man and Korg on the shared fights. And as for the boss island, I will be taking the Shocker and Apocalypse mini-bosses, as well as that Zemo boss with 2 of the links up. We will be doing a 2-man boss rush, so basically I'm just gonna be rushing, taking the boss down with a teammate before anyone else takes any of their fights. Up first we have a Mangog on the Combat Deja Vu Prowess and Spiked Armor node, and I'm taking the fight with Tigra. Neutralize completely shuts down the Spiked Armor node, since for the node to start reflecting damage back to you, the opponent needs to be able to get those physical resistance buffs, and since they are buffs, Neutralize completely shuts them down, and Damage Reflect simply doesn't exist in this fight. Some of those prowess buffs do sneak through the Neutralize here and there, but that's fine. The only thing they are gonna be doing is feeding Mystic Dispersion when they expire. This fight is over in a single Special 2, Special 1 chain. Less than 30 seconds, Tigra is at full health due to the regen boost I used. And on to the next fight. These are gonna be over quite quickly for the most part. Here we have a Kitty Pryde on the Aggression Prowess and Critical Setup node. I'm taking this fight with Future Ant-Man. And this one is very simple. All I need to do is just get to my Special 2, throw it while the power detonation is active, and due to Kitty Pryde's small health pool and the fact that this is only a Section 1 fight, the health nodes are not insane, so a single Special 2 should be more than enough to finish this fight. And it will be, with plenty of overkill as well. Future Ant-Man hits like a truck, but that being said, Kitty Pryde is not exactly the strongest defender either. Next up we have a Storm Pyramid X on the Ebb and Flow knockdown, right back at it, and Aggression Prowess node. I'm taking the fight with Future Ant-Man, and the game plan is to just nuke the fight down with a single Special 2. To do that, I need to get to a Special 2, drop a parry heavy to remove the Ebb and Flow protection, and then make sure I throw the Special 2 while the power detonation is active, so that it deals the burst damage as well. The biggest issue with this fight is the defender tactic, giving Storm here a ton of power gain for all the prowesses she gets, and that combined with the glancing she has. If you hit glances, you're not removing any of the prowesses on that hit, and her chance to glance is pretty high, so if you get unlucky, she can stack up a ton of the prowesses, and since Future Ant-Man doesn't have any protection against the Special 3, the fight could get pretty scary if you get unlucky. That being said, I definitely should have used an invulnerability boost here, and I will probably do that in the future if I'm taking the same fight, just for that reason. Next up we have a Rintrah on the Hazard Shift, Incinerate and Shock node along with Aggression Prowess, and I'm taking this fight with Valkyrie. This one is another fairly simple Valkyrie fight. I am only planning on hitting into his block to avoid all the Hazard Shift debuffs, and then just building up both the Pierce and the Bulwark buffs, getting to my Special 2 and a single Special 2 and a couple blocked hits afterwards should be more than enough to finish this fight fairly easily. The scariest part about this specific fight here is the Aggression Prowess node. Since you can't hit Rintrah directly here, you can't remove the prowesses in any way with Valkyrie, so they just keep stacking up as long as the fight lasts. And that means if his specials even touch you, blocked or otherwise, you will most likely die from it, so just make sure if you're ever taking this fight, or any fight on this node, that you do not want to let the specials touch you at all. That being said, Rintrah Special 1 is very easy to avoid, and he's never gonna get his Special 2 here unless I accidentally start eating hits, and that makes the fight fairly easy. I just need to keep baiting the special ones over and over whenever he gets it, and then just keep doing the parry walk setup to make him block, and then that's about all there is to it. Pound his block until he drops, or until you get your special 2, after which he drops anyways, so that is the fight. Finally got all the buffs built up, got to my special 2, and this fight is over. After the special 2 I waited a little bit before throwing the light attack to make sure that if he dashed at me I wouldn't be intercepting him with the light attack, just to avoid any chance of getting those hazard shift debuffs at the very end, simply because I didn't want to take any damage from it. It's a very simple Valkyrie fight, though it does take some time. Next up we have an America Chavez on the Scared Stiff and Power Focus 2 node. I'm taking the fight with Tigra, and this fight should be fairly simple as long as the AI on the defender here plays nicely. It starts off well with her throwing her special 1 immediately, and I go ahead and punish it with my heavy attack to get some power, avoid triggering MD, and to get some ruptures on the opponent. But here she decides to throw her heavy attack, triggering the negative zone dimension there, reducing my power gain effects. So now whenever I cause a hit to miss or inflict a rupture debuff, I will not be gaining nearly as much power as I should be, which is a bit of an issue. Here she didn't throw the special immediately, so when I went to punish it with my heavy attack, I got rooted in the middle of the animation. I could have been punished for that, but luckily she decided to hold block instead, for some reason. So all I needed to do was just wait out the root, then bait her special 2, punish it with my heavy attack, and that was basically the fight over. I would say Tigra is one of the best options against America Chavez on most nodes, simply because there is no risk of dying to the special 2, which is without a doubt the biggest risk when fighting her. The special 2 hits extremely hard and it is usually unblockable, so just to be able to avoid that whenever you want to, without any risks really, is extremely valuable when fighting her. Then next up we have an Absorbing Man on the Hazard Shift Shock and Bleed node with Conflictor, and I'm taking this fight with Valkyrie. The game plan here is the usual. I'm only gonna be hitting his block, building up both the Pierce and the Bulwark buffs, get into my special 2, and at that point the fight will either be over with the special 2 or shortly afterwards. Now with Absorbing Man, using this strategy, the biggest issue is the regeneration, since I won't be able to shut it down early by throwing my heavy attack to punish his specials. That being said, I did take this guy previously this season on the Hazard Shift mini-boss node, which has more health than this one, and since that one went well, I figured that this one should be even easier. So I was not worried about the regen at all. Now, the other annoying part about this fight is that the only special I'm gonna be able to bait from Absorbing Man is the special 1, and that makes him immune to bleed for as long as the form stays up. And that hurts my damage output quite a bit, but luckily the form doesn't last that long, so as long as I can time the special 2 while the Uru form is down, that would be ideal. Now I've got my buffs all built up, I just need a few more blocked hits to get to my special 2, and his Uru form ran out just in time for it. I throw the special 2 and he goes down with a bit of overkill there as well. Pretty simple fight, but once again, Valkyrie fights usually take quite a bit longer than you would like your fights to take, especially in very high tier war, but she is extremely safe for fights like that. Next up we have a future Ant-Man on the Inevitable Power Efficiency and Opportunist node, and I'm taking this fight with Tigra. And just like previously, the game plan here is to do some basic attacks to push him into his corner, avoid throwing a combo ender so that you don't get stunned if he glances, and then just bait and punish the special 1 with your heavy attack, and that's about all there is to it. The power detonation is annoying because it drains some of your power whenever it triggers, but all you need to do is just throw a special before it expires and you're good to go. I got my special 2, I throw it, and the fight is over long before the special 2 has even time to finish, and yeah, that's a very simple Tigra fight. Now, I probably should have used an advanced power boost there, like last time, because I do also have this Gorr here next, but I kind of forgot to do that. So, here we have a Gorr on the inevitable power efficiency, and Rich get Rintrah node, and once again I'm taking this fight with Tigra, and I do pop an advanced power boost to start with a bar of power. It is either that or an invulnerability boost, but I figured I just wanna get in and get out as fast as possible, so I used the advanced power boost instead. Plan is to do some basic hits to push him to his special 1, and then while neutralized, bait the special, punish it with your heavy attack to get to a special 2 with a few ruptures on the opponent, drop the special 2, and that should either finish the fight or get it very close, after which you can chain in a special 1 to finish the job. Very simple fight, but if he doesn't throw the specials, it can get very scary. Then we have a Korg on the inevitable power efficiency, make a stand, and when I open nodes, I'm taking this fight with future Ant-Man, and the game plan here is a little different than your usual future Ant-Man fight that you've seen on my channel previously. Instead of just going for the special 2s with the power detonation active, I do the full ramp up, get all 3 power detonations active beforehand, and then just nuke the fight down with a single special 2. Now at this point the protection does come back, but to remove it I simply just go for a parry heavy. I am able to do that even with the when I open node without taking a big chunk of my own health down, simply because the when I open node makes you take as much damage as you deal, and the protection there with the make a stand node reduces all damage taken by 90%, meaning the defender is taking close to no damage, so you take close to no damage from when I open as well. That being said, if your heavy attack is tied with some burst damage at the end, I wouldn't recommend it, since the knockdown happens usually before the burst damage, meaning you remove the protection and then you take the burst from when I open. Next up we have a Shocker on the Safeguard miniboss node, and I'm taking this fight with Tigra. I will be using the advanced power boost here to start with the bar of power, and the game plan is to bait and punish 2 heavy attacks with my heavy, which gets you enough power to get your special 2 with 6 rupture debuffs on the opponent, and that makes your special 2 hit pretty damn hard even with the Safeguard node. Now at this point all I need to do is just repeat, bait 2 heavies, punish them with my heavy, drop the special 2, and the fight is over before Shocker here can throw even a single special. Unfortunately he didn't really want to throw the heavy attack there, so I just go for a few basic attacks to get to my special 2 instead, but it all worked out great, and Shocker goes down. He's not really too bad of a defender. Then we have an Apocalypse on the Stunning Reflection and Polka Dot Power miniboss node, and I'm taking this fight with future Ant-Man. Unfortunately the advanced power boost ran off a few seconds before I entered the fight, so I can't start the fight with that special 1 inflicting the disintegration debuff right off the bat. So instead I'm just doing 4-hit combos, holding my block to bait heavies, punishing those heavies with more 4-hit combos and repeating until Apocalypse either goes down or the power detonation expires, inflicting a disintegration debuff and giving me power from Polka Dot Power, and that then getting me to my special 2. Either the opponent is dead before the special 2 or the special 2 will finish the fight. That makes this fight extremely safe. Future Ant-Man is a great option for it. I could have used Tigra and finished the fight in like 30 seconds, but I didn't want to take any risks, and I like playing with Future Ant-Man, so might as well use him. He does make this fight extremely simple. You never have to bait a single special, and the fight is over in just about a minute. Apocalypse didn't even get to use a single special attack. Now, unfortunately, I didn't get to do the whole boss rush myself. The Scorpion there on the Brute Force mini-boss node I could have taken with Valkyrie, but it would have been risky, since she doesn't counter the evade, and if I only hit into his block to deal with the evade, I will eat a ton of damage from the Brute Force node, costing me a ton of potions. So instead we had someone else move with me to take that mini-boss down, so I could tackle the boss. Then we have the final fight of this video, a Baron Zemo boss with the aspect of evolution and hazard shift links still up, and I'm taking this fight with Valkyrie. The game plan here is to only hit into his block to avoid triggering the defense tactic, as well as the hazard shift debuffs, and another pro about this playstyle is the fact that the opponent doesn't gain too much power from blocked hits, and that in turn deals for the most part with the aspect of evolution node as well. The aspect of evolution basically raises all of the opponent's stats whenever they cross a bar of power, and since they won't be able to gain too much power here, it will never get out of hand. So basically those two links do nothing for Valkyrie unless you mess up and hit him directly. As usual, I will be building up both the Pierce and the Bulwark buffs to get the most out of my special 2s, but since this is the boss node, it has a ton of HP, meaning I will probably need at least 2 special 2s to take this guy down. Now, one thing to note about Zemo in general is that while his AI isn't too difficult to deal with, the biggest problem with him is the weird medium attack he has. It leaves him at a weird spot, and the spacing on it makes it so he doesn't really want to throw his special 1 afterwards, and he doesn't really want to continue the combo in any way. So he kinda just stands there for a bit and then tries dashing at you again after his combo resets. And that does make it a little bit scary to fight against him with Valkyrie, because sometimes, like we see here, he just keeps dashing at you, and if that keeps happening too much, you can get cornered quite quickly. So he definitely did scare me a few times by doing that. That being said, I did manage to keep my cool for the most part, though I did make a few very bad dexes that were very close to end up with me getting clipped by Zemo. And he can hit pretty hard, especially as a boss. Now, some of you might be wondering, why even do a boss rush like this? And to answer that, why not? I saw it as a possibility. I saw that there were a few paths and mini-bosses that I could do with a team I'm very comfortable with, and since this boss is one that I would be taking with Valkyrie anyways, with or without the links, why not do it? I get to do all my fights with a single set of boosts, my teammates won't have to worry about the global node at all, making their fights easier, so I saw no reason not to do this. I guess the biggest problem here for myself was that I did have to use quite a bit of units on the energy refills, but that's not really an issue, I don't care about that. Just a few hours in arena to cover all of that. And since I haven't died yet so far, this boss is almost down, I'd say it was a success. So I don't really see a reason not to do something like this if the option is available. That being said, if some of the fights were too risky to do with my team, I would not have signed up for this, I would not have suggested it, but everything lined up, so hey, might as well. As for the results, we did end up winning the war 3-1. We only died once as an alliance, and my BG got their second donut, so I would say the boss rush paid off.